This is well, we're no.
What is
So,
it?
well, we're just gonna be playing The Witcher.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have the expansion packs. I have played this game, start to finish, actually on PlayStation. We're playing on Steam, but
It's that good.
yeah, we're gonna dip in pretty early in the game, but we won't get to any of the expansion content,
Okay.
if
Am I,
you will.
I'm forgive my ignorance. Is Wild Hunt just the name of The Witcher 3?
It's the name of the main character.
Wild Hunt?
Here we are, another episode. Let's play with Joe and friends. Who are my friends today?
Oh, it's me, Matt.
It's you, Matt.
And
Yeah.
it's me, Ben.
It's you, Ben.
You might remember me from the time Joe played Besiege.
Everyone remembers
Correct.
Moisters. Never forget
Diehard
Moisters.
fan remembers that.
Yeah, it's etched into the inside of my skull. Moisters.
It's in the pantheon of great moments of
It's in-
Let's Play with Joe and Friends.
That's right. That's right.
You know what's etched into the inside of my skull?
What's that?
The word.
God damn it.
And that's it.
This is gonna be a great episode, guys. It's gonna be a great
I
episode.
love this episode. It's so good.
It's very important. It's very important that the first thing you do is pick some Molly Arrow. Okay, now we can begin.
Nice.
So good.
So this is I had started a new game somewhat recently. So I'm very early on. We're in a place called Velen, right? And
Nice.
there's this guy, Philip, and he's the Bloody Baron. And he is this like horrible ruler who kind of caved to the invading forces of Novigrad in exchange for he's the Baron of this area called Velen, which is at this point completely war torn, and it's a disaster. It's a total disaster.
It looks awful.
It's terrible.
So what we're doing is we're finding this Peller's hut.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
Find it.
Find it. Well, fortunately,
Oh,
what-
good. There's
what- What is a peller?
oh guys, check out you can't see it. I have this griffin head.
I was gonna say, is the horse like gas powered? I thought there was like smoke coming out of the side of the horse.
It's a trophy, which in this case is the head of a griffin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Nice
that's pretty
little
badass. What are you guys playing these days?
Oh, well, as I was telling you the other day, I've been playing Deus Ex: Human Revolution.
Day
Oh,
of
yes.
sex?
PlayStation.
Yes, the day of sex.
The Day of
Human
Sex.
revolution.
That's the porno parody. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've been getting into it. I'm not super familiar with the series, but it's sort of like frustrating, but also kind of refreshing that you can't really engage enemies head on. You have to use a lot of stealth, and you have at any given time you might only have 20 bullets in your gun, so it's like you can't just run and gun your way through it. So
20
it's-
bullets.
Wow.
20
It's a
bullets is
little,
not a
little
lot
more
of bullets.
thoughtful.
I remember. Is my voice too loud? by the
No.
way?
No.
All right.
No.
I remember learning about those games that it was supposedly your paths to victory were numerous, and that the AI would respond accordingly. They would boast about the AI of
Yeah, the AI, I mean, for the time is probably pretty good. I mean, it's not, I think by 2020 standards, it's not very good, but for the time it was probably pretty impressive. But they're just, yeah, they're like you know, if you have a room that you need to get through, you could try sneaking to the right, you could try sneaking to the left. You know, on one side there's like some crates you could move, on the other side there's a ladder you can climb. You try going over the roof. There's like multiple paths to get where you're going, and it kind of gives you that a little bit of freedom in that sense.
So
What do
it's
you tr-
like there's like multiple paths with stealth. It's not like you can stealth, you can talk to them, or you
You
can
can't.
kill
No,
them.
you
You
can't
know what I
talk to
mean?
them.
Right.
Talking to them is not an option. You can kill
Okay.
them,
But
but
that's
I
harder.
mean, in my time playing the game, you're so overmatched by the people you're fighting that just like trying to massacre them doesn't really work out most times.
That's I do like that feeling of the enemies in a game actually being threatening. And there's kind of a balance to strike with that. There are certain games where you feel like, oh, well, this is just designed to be unfair, and it's not that fun.
Look at that.
It's really good looking,
Beautiful,
although I am
beautiful.
streaming the Discord output, so it's like a little pixelated, but I can tell that it's great.
Gotta keep those streams low for the bandwidth.
Do you think that this looks like this, Joe, on your PlayStation
No,
with the lighting and
no,
yeah? I was gonna
no.
say like this has to be enhanced from
Oh yeah.
what you would see on a console.
So apparently this guy's gonna help me out.
But you just killed all of his children. Wait, did I miss the
No,
story?
they were all of his children. I definitely killed all those guys, but they were jerks. So he's like he's like wizard isn't the right word.
Shaman?
Yeah, something like that. I can't
Mystic.
yeah, more along those lines. But we
He looks
needed
like
we
that
needed
guy from Minority
information.
Report.
We needed information from him to like help find this like Baron's missing wife and daughter. So wait, what are you playing, Matt?
Okay, so I've been playing a bunch of stuff. I most recently have been playing some combination of my N64 emulator, which is mostly Ocarina of Time, and also I've been playing Fallout 4 on PC on ultra graphics, and it looks amazing and it's really fun. I haven't played Fallout 4 yet, so I'm going through for the first time, and it's pretty much a Fallout game, but there are certain differences, and some things that are slightly less developed and some things that are slightly more developed, and I don't know, it's just a really really fun game. Like I went in, like what's great about
Well, so wait,
RPGs and
I'm
like the
sorry.
Fallout
Had you
games. Go ahead.
had you not played Fallout 4 before?
I had played it like the beginning of it a few times. I've seen the opening a bunch of times, and I've created characters on several people's PlayStations.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
But obviously, because I don't live in those houses, I would abandon those characters pretty frequently. So, but what's great about games like The Witcher and Fallout and stuff is it really feels like you're engaging in some kind of a freeform story. And like for instance, I found this Raiders den that was like hollowed out beneath Medford Hospital.
I
Like
I
it
love
was like the hospital was like normal kind of and sort of broken down, but then I found that there's this whole section of the hospital that had been completely hollowed out and turned into like a crazy cavern with all these bridges and like in the bottom there was like a betting arena that had no ladders, and it was like a pit that literally they had a death claw in, and they would throw people in there and
no.
like fucking bet on what would happen, like Rancor style from Star Wars. And like I was just in there, and I was like, huh, what's in this pit? And I fell in, and I was like, wow, there's no ladders to get up, but I'll assume that there's a tunnel or something. So I'm walking around, and I just turn the corner, and the death claws in Fallout 4 are like the size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, they're so fucking big. Like maybe a mini T-Rex, but still, it just felt so cinematic. It felt like an actual movie was unfolding, and it was just shit that I was deciding to do, you know? So it's really, that's what I love about games like this is, yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I like Fallout. Fallout is a game, and as someone, I say this as someone who played like a ton of the Elder Scrolls games.
Yes.
But I never really got into Fallout. I played Fallout 3 a fair amount. Like, I played it quite a bit. Fallout 4, I played a little. And I never played some of the other ones that have, like, really strong, not cult following, but fan bases. Like, New Vegas,
Yeah.
I feel like people loved.
That's the one that people are really into.
New Vegas rocks my.
Hmm.
Is there a mod to make him look more like Henry Cavill?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't actually seen it. Also, is that how you say his name? Cavill?
That's how I say his name.
Cavill.
Oh,
How do you
I've
say
never.
it? How do you
Henry
say it?
Cavill or Cavill. I don't know.
Cavill?
I've always said
I've never heard
Cavill.
anyone actually pronounce it.
I said Cavill because I'm wrong, I guess.
Cavill is definitely the most creative pronunciation. You could also go with Henry Cavill.
Cave Hill.
Cavile.
Two
Henry-
geographical structures.
Henry Saviles.
Oh.
By the way, if you guys want to have
Oh, no.
freaking time, the Fallout chronology wiki starts. Let me tell you what year it starts and how much detail is there.
Year 1, Jesus Christ, born.
Well, everyone knows that.
7500 BCE.
Whoa. How the hell does that have anything to do with Fallout? I guess I need to play the games to find out.
Well, what's crazy is that it includes actual world events, and then mixes in the Fallout lore as things go on.
I see.
And once you get up to 2076 and 2077, those are very long because it includes all the major events in those games and times. But it's actually really hard to parse through all this because there's a.
I was actually watching, so at your request, Matt, I was watching the trailer for Demon Souls remake. I think you were telling me about that.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. It looks amazing. It's like, it really is a step up. And I wasn't even aware of that game. Apparently that's like a game that people love from either last generation or even before. But
Oh, it's from. I have it for PS3. It's an old
PS3.
It was the first popular From Software.
From
title.
Software, right?
Yeah.
There's even a precursor to the first Fallout called Wasteland, I think.
Was
Is
that
that-
made by some of the same people?
I think it was.
Oh, but isn't-
possibly.
No, isn't that one of the older, like, sort of isometric view, top down?
Text-based even, or maybe top-down. I remember I saw a review of it once, and it seemed it was very primitive. I think it was DOS, and even that was based on a tabletop RPG.
Was it
And
really?
there was there was some kind of rights.
that's cool.
There was some kind of rights issue where they got sued and couldn't release it, or it was interesting.
That's better. That's better than the wrongs issue.
All right, okay, just for your information. In 2077, October 23rd. Actually, yeah, let me just let me give you all of October 23rd, but apparently a bunch of events happen on this day. October 23rd, 2077, 82 students from the Early Dawn Elementary School go on a field trip to Lamplight Caverns with a couple of teachers and a few parent chaperones. LOB Enterprises is raided by federal agents. Dr. Hein, a Nuka-Cola Corporation geneticist, is taken hostage by AFAD at the Angry Anaconda in Nuka World. And then Fallout 4 prologue begins. The sole survivor and their family evacuate from their home in Sanctuary Hills to Vault 111. Once inside, they and other Vault residents are placed in indefinite cryonic suspension by Vault Tech personnel. The Great War begins and ends, lasting only a scant 2 hours. Most of Earth is reduced to cinders in that time. It begins in the early morning, U.S. Eastern Standard Time. The United States and China deploy their nuclear arsenals. Other countries, seeing the missiles on their way, launch their planes and fire their warheads as well. Air raid sirens sound, but very few people heed the warning. The vaults are sealed. 2 hours of nuclear bombardment later, the war ends, along with much of humanity. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So it was 2077 that happens then?
Yes.
Okay.
So Fallout 76 must be like a year before the
2076?
100-year anniversary.
2176.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That's what I
right.
imagine.
Got it.
Oh, I love the people with their bowl cuts in this game. It's so good. And it looks like their hair is all like individually moving when they bob their head and
So there's the other characters have a fair amount of that, but like Geralt's hair is crazy.
I mean, it's so. I've been watching it, and I've just been so impressed by the way the individual strands blow in the wind, and it's very nice.
The bowl cuts in this are pretty solid.
impressive. Yeah.
I wish I had
Like they very much must have.
I wish you had one too.
I mean, my hair's long enough now. I think I will. I mean, who cares? No one cares.
But it looks like they very much did put a bowl on someone's head and cut exactly.
It's like perfect.
Joe, do you mind explaining the yellow and red auras around things?
So the things start to glow when you use your Witcher senses. The red things are sort of, I guess, like quest progress kind of items. But anything that glows is of interest, like an item or searchable or something like that.
Is that a portal you're about to go into?
It is.
Go through that. There you go.
So cool.
Here I am now.
I thought it was interesting. I wonder if in the next gen, because I assume they'll do another one of these. Will they try to make the just the bodies like a little less like a mannequin, a little less like stiff looking?
Yeah, I assume so. I mean, like everything's gonna get like
They'll
incrementally
take everything up a notch.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Cyberpunk is probably gonna.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh god, Cyberpunk is gonna be just the so yeah. I mean, graphically, it's gonna be incredible, right? Obviously, but the degree to which you can customize your character, like, is insane. It is so crazy the degree to which, because like the whole premise is like the body modification, right? It's like this cyberpunk future.
Right.
There's like hundreds and hundreds of like modifications you can make to your person that do all manner of different things. Hundreds and hundreds.
Wow. Now that kind of thing raises an interesting question, at least for me. Like, how much of that kind of stuff is just too much, and it just starts to take away from the game, or is it never too much? Should the world just be infinitely deep and broad and just have
I think it.
as much variation as real life?
I think it. I think it kind of depends on the person, right? So
Yeah,
for people who are like, oh, I need to 100% a game, like I don't even know how you 100% something like
right.
Cyberpunk. Do you? I mean, I don't know. I don't
I mean,
know.
even calling back to Fallout 4, I find it a little bit like I wouldn't say that it's bad, but I just don't find it personally entertaining that you can like have so many different mods and crafts for your various weapons. Like for me, I would much rather just discover like a weapon fully formed and like there it
Yeah,
is, you know. But
I
that's
guess
because
so.
I think I just
I
have
But
a
get that.
more traditional.
it probably though has less to do with the quantity or the volume of whether it's weapon mods or any other like whatever means there is of customization, right? And
Yeah,
how meaningful each of them are. So
right.
if you have like 400 modifications, but you only ever use two of them, then did you really need the other 398?
Right.
But if for some reason, like, they all bring some kind of value to the game in some way, then yeah, it's
I mean,
justified.
then that feels more justified, certainly, because it's not just a superficial
Right. I mean, that's kind of one of
thing.
the things that I take issue with Borderlands is like there's a bunch of garbage, honestly,
Yeah,
and it's a
yeah.
fun
Isn't it?
game.
It's like
I
procedurally
like the
generated,
game.
right?
Um, I think so
Aren't they? It's
to
like
some
there are
degree.
2 million weapons in Borderlands, and it's like, well, yeah, they're all made just like randomly.
The game itself is more structured, but I think that yeah, like if you knock a guy out, depending on
The loot
random,
system
the
is
loot is
yeah.
random. Yeah, I actually really liked. I was playing Borderlands 2 a little while ago. I really thought that was pretty good.
I haven't played those yet. I should give it a shot. They're kind of a
They
classic.
have sort of a kind of a quirky sense of humor. They have kind of their own aesthetic. It's sort of like cell shaded to some degree.
It's
It
like,
was
whoa,
cool.
that Mad Max guy is putting his fingers to his head like he doesn't give a hoot.
Yeah.
Wait, so at what point in the game are you like power level wise? Like, are these
Early,
guys a
early.
threat to
Um,
you?
well, the enemies are pretty progressive in how they scale. So like the the kind of enemy doesn't matter. Like these are level 4 right now, but they could be level 30 later if I'm a higher
Oh,
level.
I see, I see. You could like find a beast version of those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I have many times thought about games like Grand Theft Auto that are just trying to be a sandbox and give you whatever you want, essentially, and have almost endless content for you to explore. And it's sort of like, I if I really wanted that, um,
You play The
I,
Sims.
That's
no,
right.
I don't know. I guess.
I mean, to
Oh,
me, endless. I don't care personally. I mean, it's obviously your taste in gaming, but I don't care personally for simulation type things. But I almost feel like you
Simulation
know,
like
oh, I don't care about like customizing my little apartment inside of the game or something like that. But like,
well, I don't know. It really depends.
it's up to.
Sometimes
I mean,
that can be really fun and
some people
engaging.
love it. I'm not saying it's bad to do or anything. I just personally, I don't. It doesn't appeal to me. But
oh no.
I do feel like if you have more missions, that is the meat of the game. But then, like, the tools to achieve those missions, like your personal mods to your character or your weaponry, could be endless. But eventually those missions are going to run out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the idea of like endless versus finite, and striking a balance. That's one part of it, but I guess how I
In
could
RPGs there are I mean, see, I'm not like a big RPG player, but I know that when you play like you guys play like Diablo and all that, there's like hundreds of different weapons and things, spells, and
But those are basically
you
procedurally generated.
spend.
Also,
they're
Yes,
procedurally
in
generated.
Diablo they actually are procedurally generated, but
Really?
I find some of the most engaging gameplay of Diablo to be just sitting in menu with my character and deciding what to do.
And sometimes that is fun. I mean, to go back to Deus Ex,
oh no.
I've started to get a little more into that kind of thing, because in that you customize. You're basically like a cyberpunk augmented human, and you can customize the various capabilities of your body over time. And
Nice.
and it's fairly limited. Like, it's not like in Fallout where eventually you just get everything. It seems like you have to be kind of choosy as to what abilities you want to give yourself.
See, I kind of like that.
But yeah, I mean, I see the appeal of like sitting in the menu and kind of like exploring the options. And the menus themselves are actually kind of fun to navigate. They look good, and there's an excitement to going through them and selecting your features and stuff. So I guess I get that. Or I'm learning to get that. But I think in the past I've been a much simpler gamer. I appreciate older games that don't have as many options.
Bells and whistles.
Yeah.
I was so something that I always say when I'm on this topic is that I want the game creator to show me something. I
No, I know
What?
you're making a serious point. I was just thinking,
I didn't mean show it. I didn't mean I want the game creator to show it. But no, I want the game creator to show me something. I want to go in to the little world that they've created and feel a feeling that they have designed for me to feel, And in that way, game design and
why is this so hard to do?
Is like a form of communication, or almost like it's like the game designer is giving me a small tour of their psyche or of their worldview.
Right.
And by making it a sandbox where it's just up to me, I really don't get anything artistically from that. I don't get anything artistically or as a form of communication from the designer, Like I feel sort of empty. I'm just kind of like, all right,
you're
well,
you're looking for like a cinematic experience, which is sort of more tightly controlled. Like, you're kind of sort of linear, and like that's how you get those kinds of.
But not fully, because sometimes, like for instance, like Fallout, I think does it pretty well.
But each quest is a story in Fallout. You just get to choose which order you want to do them in. Or, I mean, in some of the Fallout games, you have more control over how your character is shaped and their reputation within the wasteland. And
yes,
basically through your decision making, you kind of create the story as you go. What kind of the essence of like an RPG, I guess.
Yeah, but what's interesting though is is sort of the striking a balance between showing the player something, that is out of their control, and you know, having them feel a thing that you've designed for them to feel, and also like
some level of free will,
some level of feeling like there's this unalterable situation that is kind of making you feel a certain way, but your response to it, you know, is also a part of the game. That's where the communication kind of comes in, where the designer is saying something to you and expressing an emotion, and then your response is kind of is limited to an extent within the rules of the game. It would be like if I was having a conversation with somebody and I really wanted it to be GTA style, they would say, "How was your day at work?" And then I would say, "Motorcycle, trash can, machine gun," you know? And like it would just be like, you know, okay, I guess you're allowed to say that, you know.
GTA though, I mean, having played through a couple of them, it's not that free. I mean, there's a main story that you play through, and there's like side quests you can do, but they're not always that necessary to the game. And I mean, you basically just do missions, and each mission kind of just is its own little story.
Right. I guess I mean closer towards like GTA 5, where it became this insanely modded, like online community of people who made their own things with the engine, and like racing games, and you know, battle royale style games, and like, but you know, kind of like Minecraft style, where it's literally just infinite content that's just made by the users, you know.
But there's I mean, I can think of a bunch of games that basically have kind of become that, you know, like Skyrim is a great example.
Yeah, I think it's cool when the users kind of take over. I mean, when
like
you think
that's
about
not
the fact
bad.
that
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
people are still making levels for classic Doom.
Which is awesome.
Pretty amazing.
That is really cool. No, I guess it's fine when like the users take over at some point.
It's not what you're talking about. Well, I suppose it could be.
Didn't John Romero just release like a new pack?
Yeah, he did. He did this thing called Sigil.
Yes.
Which is all based in the Doom engine, but is like an entirely new set of levels, and they're really cool. They really feel like, you know, they have his personal stamp on them. I haven't played them, but I've watched some video of it.
Right.
Sick. And yeah, I mean, I suppose that. I mean, he also created some of the best levels of the original Doom, but let's just say it wasn't John Romero creating it. It was just somebody else. They're using those tools to do what you're saying, man, which is to kind of like tell a story or create an experience.
Right.
And the Sigil levels really do that, just like any really good Doom level does.
Right. And okay, so like here's a kind of analogy that I'm developing in my head as I'm talking. Much like something like Twitch or YouTube is an avenue through which people can experience games that they might not be able to afford or handle with their computer's power. You know, they can experience those things. It's sort of like that's a little bit of a similar situation to if I were to say, hey, you know what? There's a big wide world out there. If you want infinite options and detail, just go out there and like see the world and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, you could say that if you were rich, you know, but you know, seeing places that have infinite detail and exploring and traveling all over the place is not something that everybody can actually do. So a game like, you know, World of Warcraft or GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption is a very affordable version of sowing your wild oats and going around the world and doing whatever you want, basically. Not everybody can go to Ibiza and have
and
do
also
Molly.
also not everyone can walk in the middle of the street with a shotgun and start killing people.
True.
Yeah,
true.
not everyone can do that.
Yeah,
Some of those very special individuals.
But yeah, it lets you have experiences. I mean, you also can't travel back to the Wild West, but Red Dead Redemption gives you a pretty good feeling of what that would be like.
For only 59.
Or what's the Assassin's Creed games take you to 16th century Florence or whatever. I guess I feel like one thing.
Well, the Assassin's Creed games take you everywhere.
They take you all over the place. What was I gonna say, Matt? The point I feel like you sort of make is like
that I very clumsily make. Yes,
like for artists, the role of the game designer or the role of the artist is to take all the various things in life and kind of focus your attention on something specific.
Right. Like
if
in
you
a novel or a movie.
And if you just do a thing where you just create the world and you just say you're free to go,
have fun.
That doesn't necessarily focus you on something specific in the way that like a movie would. I mean, right. I think that you could in that scenario, like The Sims or something, you wind up as the player, you wind up focusing on something specific. It's just of your choosing. So it's less of this like deliberate thing of the designer saying, hey, look at this or do this.
Right.
And more of just like, here are some options, do what you want. And if you wind up, I mean, I think there's a pack within The Sims that enables you to knit. Like if you really like knitting, you can get the knitting pack, and then now you can do all sorts of knitting.
Did you hear that?
So, yeah, so now you can have The Sims knitting, and that's if you buy that pack. I mean, I would assume you would want that, and then would put it to use. But it's just another thing that makes the world fully fleshed out. And gives you another choice to focus on.
It's right. So, but having a knitting pack that's almost like this. That almost feels cynical or something. Where it's like, hey, there's like this whole community online, and we did some market research, and there's a Venn diagram between people on the knitting Pinterest and people who play The Sims.
I mean, there probably is. There probably is, yeah.
Like, so.
But you can't tell me that that's not what most like gaming is based on now, like market research. I mean,
no, most big games probably, yeah. I would say
crate stuff that people do, and all the skins that you buy, and there's like cross promotion between like various popular properties.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on people's algorithms and stuff, and it's like you see ads for games that you are in the demographic for, and like.
Well, not even that, but like just the fact that like I'm sure that, I mean, I don't even really play a lot of games like this, but I'm sure that you could find things that are like I'm sure like Fortnite, right? Like there's like a million things you can buy on Fortnite that are just pandering to whatever is the latest craze. Among kids.
Yeah, what's the Hatchimal? Do you hear about the Fortnite Hatchimal crossover?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. So
no, I'm just kidding.
Hatchimal
for much younger kids, but there literally was a Fortnite Marvel crossover, and
yeah, exactly.
All of the character models for the Marvel things looked like I don't know, just bad Justice League, like I don't know, just really.
They're just like, hey,
it's for kids.
Fortnite
like
players obviously play Marvel, and or like Marvel, so we're going to now have this.
They didn't even make Rocket Raccoon a playable character. He's like a backpack.
that costs $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get it, but you're gonna have to spend a lot of your parents' money. I like those. I like those ghosts, by the way, Joe. I am watching what you're doing.
Yeah. No. It's good. The
Completely ignoring whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have an update, Joe. What's going on in The Witcher?
Let's check back in
we're
with Joe down on the field. Joe, can you tell us?
we're making our way through this dungeon place. A little stuck at the moment.